we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more. Even in the hard time, you and I can weather any storm.
My artist date is scheduled for today, but the weather is so bad. I was already outside with the dog. I was drenched. It's raining a lot. And I guess I turned the camera on to talk myself into it because one of my goals is to hold myself accountable for you and for me. Okay, so let's go. Same sweater, different day. I'm gonna be honest, I am struggling a bit. Just to keep it interesting for you, visually, I will insert the footage of how I keep working on the watercolor sketchbooks you saw me working on earlier. Because I have some thoughts to share. First off, I am an anxious ball this week. I have a very good grip on my anxiety usually, but this week is, well, it's bad. I can acknowledge that it is a bad week. It will, of course, get better. I'm doing everything I learned and know about how to battle that anxiety. It is probably a combination of all things considered. The weather is turning gray, and that does take its toll on my mood. It's also that time of the month I am having hormonal imbalances. I am doing the artist's way, which is making changes happen, and that's always scary. And finally, my artist date. With another mindset, I'm sure it would have been fun, but with this weather and this anxiety I was going in, it only made it worse. It was a bit depressing even. Of course, it's a beautiful town, but I wasn't able to appreciate it, which only made me feel worse about myself because I am living near such a precious old town and then I wasn't even able to enjoy it. I'll just place it under a bad day and not a great artist date. Now I had an artist date at home. I had two outside, and only one of those two was fun, and that was when I went to the library. I'll think of something and tell you later this week in my check-in what I will be doing for the next artist date because I need a good one now. And to make things worse, my husband came back from his artist date and he was over the moon. It was one of the best things he had done this year, which I, of course, am very happy for him. But at the same time, I want that as well. I need to make it happen. What I'm doing about the anxiety is create. Bookbinding is quite enjoyable for me. Sometimes I feel more like painting, sometimes I feel more like crafting, and this week I definitely feel like crafting. I also either clean or take care of myself or my environment. Let me just switch back to this camera for a second. The original cover for these watercolor books was this one. It's very cute. I liked it. Also these eyelets, it was quite hard. I even had to get a puncher to make these eyelets, and I thought it was adorable. Then it was all finished, all done. And then I realized for a watercolor book with watercolor paper, this is a problem. Of course, with the Coptic stitch that I'm doing, you are able to open up your sketchbook fully, which is great, a good choice for a sketchbook. But then this was so wobbly and you wouldn't have been able to paint, especially with watercolor. You need a flat surface. Therefore, I opened it all again and thought, I'm gonna make a new cover and rebind it. And that was 4 months ago. Back to the book binding. And by taking care of this thing that just sat upon my shelf and was staring at me, I am also trying to clean my board of tasks and do some of those things that I just pushed off and off and off. And one more thing I did that always helps me with my anxiety is Stardew Valley. It's a farming simulator, and in my opinion, well, it is my favorite game ever. An adorable game that helps me calm down, calm my nerves in the evening. I think I'll take you out for a walk today. You have to experience this weather. It's no wonder it is going on my head, it's drowning my mood. But the dog looks adorable in the wind. So I'll see you later. Cozy check-in on the couch today. I wrote my morning pages every day, which is good. They still don't give me trouble, but do you know that feeling when you are so very tired, you're trying to do something and you feel your eyes roll back and your mind drift away because you are so tired, you almost fall asleep sitting? That's what I had this week on multiple days in the morning. I had to go back to bed because I was so exhausted. And that coupled with the anxiety was not a good combination. The artist state, not so great as well. I think next week I'll go to another city, which is about half an hour away from here, by train. And they have a very cute book cafe. There are books everywhere, and you can just grab one and read. And if you want to, you can buy it. And also in that city, there is an art supply store. So even if that first part is a doozy, that's my saving grace. I am sure I'll have a good time at the art supply store. I think that's a solid plan. And then were there any other issues? Yes, the anxiety. Also, I'm glad I finally was able to create something. I created these 3 watercolor books. I had fun embroidering the covers, thinking of designs. My swatches helped a lot in the process. I'm glad I have them. One more thing, you know how the overarching goal of this is for me, is to have the ability to set higher goals. It's a problem, as I mentioned in the very beginning. And my husband, Paul, is doing the exact same exercises as I am. And sometimes we compare what we write, especially with these very quick, where Julia Cameron in the book gives you a prompt and you have to very quickly answer them. 5 fun activities you'd never do. If I wasn't so stingy with my inner artist, I would. If it didn't sound so ridiculous, I'd go do this and that. If I wasn't so stingy with my inner artist, I would. Paul wrote, get 2 separate workstations, these little sheds, one for working with metal and one for working with wood, and buy all these great tools to put in these sheds. And then he looked at me and asked, and what did you write? And I wrote, if I wasn't so stingy with my inner artist, I would buy a large roll of watercolor paper. Just no comment. I'm working on it. I hope to see you next week. Hope you have a good time. Until then, bye.